Iowa. At number 2, Ohio State.
Okay, so Ohio State's favored by 29 in this ball game, and it's easy to understand why. Iowa has done nothing that would inspire any sort of confidence on the offensive side. And if you're going to beat Ohio State, in particular in their building, you better bring a competent offense, and there's questions surrounding that specifically for Iowa. This Iowa team is really good in the special teams, and they're really good on defense. And from that standpoint, I think we're all interested and excited to see this Ohio State offense get tested by this defense from Iowa. This defense is 7th in the country in total defense, 3rd in the country in passing defense, 3rd in the country in scoring defense. They're number 1 in terms of giving up explosive plays, meaning they just don't allow explosive plays, and explosives for me are 30 yards or more. That's how Phil Parker talks about it. I love that matchup. Seeing if this offense for Ohio State, which I think is the best in the country, how do they play against a team that really makes you earn it? That Iowa defense is built, they're one of my favorites in terms of their architecture and their structure on the defensive side. The way they're built is that they maintain their levels of defense in order to limit the explosive plays. When you talk with Phil Parker, the defensive coordinator for Iowa, he'll talk about 2 explosives or more. They're probably going to give up 15 points or more, and they're probably going to lose. If they give up 2 or less than 2 explosive plays, they're most likely going to win and most likely going to hold the opponent under 10 points. He goes back years and years and years with this data, and so what they do, they've built this defense to basically achieve that goal. They have this very simple structure: 4-3, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and then 4 defensive backs. And they play quarters coverage. Quarters coverage means that the safeties are low and they're in this kind of pattern read. Rather than bore you with the schematics, I would just tell you that what is very difficult is to get behind those safeties, number 1, and 2, run the ball for explosives because of those levels. They just maintain them. They don't get out of position. And because of their simplicity in terms of their structure, they can really major in what you're doing. So they are uniquely aware of your tendencies, little formation things that you do, which allows them to be effective and allows them year after year to put up these numbers as one of the best defenses in the country. That's why I can't wait to watch them play this Ohio State team. Now, Ohio State on offense, listen, they got a bunch of freak shows over there, right? I talked about it on Wednesday about how I've never seen in this sport, while I've been covering this sport, a team lose 2 first-round receivers, then have their best receiver that was returning, who was a Biletnikoff favorite, best receiver in college football, get hurt, and they're fine. They're absolutely fine. Emeka Egbuka and Marvin Harrison have 66 catches, over 1,000 yards, really over 1,100 yards, and 15 touchdowns. They are really good, but it's not just throwing the ball. They also average 6 yards per carry. They put an emphasis on getting tougher in the run game and more physical in the run game, and they've achieved that. They're 5th in the country in yards per carry. This offense is uniquely built to go and compete with the best defenses in the country and still succeed. Because what the defenses, the best ones in particular in the country, try to do is they try to make you one-dimensional. And you can't do that to this Ohio State team. They can't force you to throw it to just one wide receiver. And by the way, teams that have tried to do that, Cade Stover, the tight end, went off, like Wisconsin. You can't force them to be just a running team because they've got Mayan Williams and Travion Henderson, and they will hurt you running the football. So they can hurt you in any number of ways. And this is their best test or biggest test thus far in the season. And that's why I think it's such a great matchup. The other side is not a great matchup, right? There's no sugarcoating it for the Iowa offense. The Iowa offense has been really bad. So their defense has to create turnovers. They've got to create short fields, win the field position battle. That's their only avenue for a win in this game at all. The only avenue. They've got to have 3, 4, maybe even 5 turnovers. CJ Stroud's going to have to play his worst game that he's maybe ever played as a Buckeye. You're going to have to try to get these running backs to fumble. You might need a special teams turnover. You're going to need 2, 3, maybe even 4 short fields in order to get field goals or touchdowns. And even that might not be enough. Why is that? Well, take a look at Iowa's last game. So in their last game, they're coming off of a bye, and in their last game, they did all of those things and still lost at Illinois. I want to just take you through a drive sequence, and I know you've probably seen this on social media, but in the first half, this sequence is a real sequence, actually happened in a Big Ten football game, in an Iowa football game. Iowa gets the ball at their own 27-yard line. Nondescript first half series. 3 plays, minus 11 yards because of a sack, and they need to punt. Okay, that's fine. They punt. Again, they've got one of the best special teams in the country. Torrey Taylor goes out there. It's a nice punt. Their defense goes on the field. Now they're on the Illinois 35-yard line. They go out there. The punt is muffed, and they're able to get the ball at the Illinois 35-yard line. Okay, so great special teams play produces a short field after they went 3 and out. They promptly go 3 and out again for minus 6 yards. So now they're back at the Illinois 41, and they've got to punt again. So now they punt, and now they're backing up Illinois inside their own 10-yard line. Illinois starts the drive on the 5, and they fumble. And now Iowa gets a short field. And what does Iowa do? Well, they've got first and goal on the 5, and they promptly went backwards in 4 plays. So the 3-play sequence is this. 3 plays, negative 11 yards, punt. Muff punt, offense goes back on the field. 3 plays, negative 6 yards, punt. Fumble from Illinois' offense goes back on the field. 4 plays, negative 4 yards, field goal. That's insane. I've never seen anything like that. In the last 11 drives offensively for for Iowa in the Illinois game, the last 11 drives, they had 7 punts, 1 field goal, 1 missed field goal, an interception, and the end of the game. What I'm trying to get at is the biggest test for Ohio State actually isn't even their offense against a very good Iowa defense. It's can they go out and dominate and prove that their defense is as good as what their statistics show they are. I think that's the biggest challenge for the Buckeyes. They're at home, and they need to go out and dominate. This has got to be a statement game for the Buckeye defense. This is a Buckeye defense that is top 10 in the country right now in scoring defense, total defense, rush defense, passing defense, yards per play defense, and they're going to face an offense that has not had any success. So if you want to make anybody believe in Ohio State's long-term sustainability to win a national championship, they better go out and thoroughly dominate this Iowa offense. Thoroughly dominate. We've seen other teams dominate them. If the Buckeyes are for real, they would go out there and dominate this Iowa offense. The spread is 29. I'm not picking against the spread. I will just tell you this game would have to go perfectly for Iowa to win. Can't wait to go there. Can't wait to be around Ohio State. Haven't been around them yet. I tend to get a really good feeling for a team in the week in which I cover them, whether it was Alabama and Texas early in the season, the 4 straight that I've just been with Michigan. You get a good sense for their team chemistry. You get a good sense for their motivation, what's going on in the program. And for those reasons, I'm really excited to get to Columbus and do this game and get around this Ohio State team, in particular as they embark on what is becoming the stretch run of the season. I'll be with them this week against Iowa at home. I'll be with them again next week as they prepare to go on the road and play against Penn State.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.